At the very edge of the continent, where the Pacific gnaws steadily at the cliffs, a young city stands atop landscapes far older than memory. Founded in 1957, Pacifica occupies a dramatic stretch of coastline just south of San Francisco, along the restless margin of the Pacific Ocean. Though modern in municipal age, Pacifica rests upon geological formations shaped over millions of years and cultural layers that reach deep into indigenous history. For the archaeologist, it is not merely a suburb framed by sea spray and fog, but a stratified archive of environmental change, coastal adaptation, and post-war American expansion. Here, tectonic forces, ocean currents, and human ambition intersect in visible and measurable ways. Beneath the sound of crashing surf lies a palimpsest of human presence, stretching far beyond the city's 1957 incorporation. Long before subdivision maps and highway corridors defined the terrain, indigenous communities inhabited these coastal valleys and bluffs. Archaeological surveys conducted in the broader San Mateo County region have identified shell middens, lithic scatters, and habitation sites that attest to sustained occupation over millennia. These deposits, composed of marine shells, faunal remains, and stone tools, provide invaluable data about subsistence strategies tied to tidal rhythms and seasonal cycles. Pacifica's modern boundaries, therefore, overlay ancestral landscapes, reminding researchers that municipal timelines often obscure deeper cultural chronologies. What appears to be a quiet coastal town is, in fact, a living laboratory of geological drama. Pacifica sits near the active boundary of the Pacific and North American tectonic plates, not far from the influential fault systems that shape coastal California. The city's topography, steep cliffs, folded sedimentary rock, and narrow beaches, reflects tectonic uplift and marine erosion operating in tandem. Archaeologists working in such environments must consider not only cultural layers, but also geomorphological processes that continuously reshape the ground itself. Coastal erosion, landslides, and seismic activity complicate preservation. Yet they also expose new sections of stratigraphy, revealing glimpses of the past otherwise hidden. Incorporated during America's post-war optimism, Pacifica embodies the archaeology of suburban aspiration. The year 1957 marked a period of rapid demographic growth in California, fueled by economic expansion and infrastructural development. Pacifica emerged from the consolidation of several smaller communities, forming a unified municipality oriented toward residential life by the sea. From an archaeological perspective, this phase represents a distinct material culture. Ranch-style homes, asphalt road networks, standardized school buildings, and commercial strips. These features, though recent, are no less worthy of study than ancient ruins. They document mid-20th century ideals of domesticity, mobility, and coastal leisure. Look closely at the cliffs, and you will see time collapsing into itself in bands of sandstone and soil. The sedimentary formations visible along Pacifica's shoreline preserve fossil traces and microfaunal remains that speak to prehistoric marine ecosystems. Archaeological interpretation in such settings requires interdisciplinary collaboration with geology and paleoecology. By examining soil composition and depositional patterns, researchers can reconstruct past shoreline positions and climatic fluctuations. These findings illuminate how earlier populations may have responded to rising seas or shifting resource zones, questions that resonate strongly in the present era of climate change. The ocean that defines Pacifica is both creator and destroyer. Coastal erosion has claimed roads, buildings, and sections of infrastructure, forcing municipal authorities to confront the impermanence of development along dynamic shorelines. From an archaeological standpoint, erosion is paradoxical. It threatens cultural resources while simultaneously revealing buried deposits. Storm surges occasionally expose artifacts embedded in bluff faces, offering fleeting opportunities for documentation before materials are lost to the sea. This tension between preservation and exposure underscores the fragility of coastal heritage. Even a fishing pier can serve as an artifact of cultural identity. The Pacifica Municipal Pier, extending into the Pacific, represents more than recreational infrastructure. It is a symbol of the city's relationship with maritime space. Such structures reflect patterns of public access, economic activity, and community gathering in the late 20th century. Archaeologists examining contemporary heritage increasingly recognize the significance of these communal landmarks. They embody shared memory, shaping how residents interpret their environment and assert belonging along a contested coastline. Fog, often drifting inland from the Golden Gate, acts as an atmospheric veil linking Pacifica to broader regional narratives. Proximity to San Francisco situates Pacifica within the metropolitan orbit of one of America's most iconic cities. Yet Pacifica retains a distinct identity rooted in its rugged terrain and quieter pace. The construction of highways connecting the two cities transformed patterns of commuting and settlement. Archaeological analysis of transportation corridors reveals how mobility reshapes land use, fragmenting habitats while integrating economies. Roads, bridges, and tunnels become artifacts of regional integration. What stories lie hidden beneath suburban lawns and coastal trails? Cultural resource management surveys conducted prior to development projects often uncover remnants of earlier occupation, fragments of ceramics, historic foundations, or traces of agricultural use predating incorporation. These discoveries complicate the narrative of Pacifica as solely a post-1957 creation. Instead, they reveal a continuum of land use, transitioning from indigenous stewardship to ranching, and ultimately to suburban expansion. Each phase leaves material signatures embedded within the soil. Pacifica's cliffs are not silent. They are inscribed with the marks of adaptation. As sea levels fluctuate and storm intensity interventions, modern engineering interventions, seawalls, drainage systems, slope reinforcements, become part of the archaeological record. Future researchers may interpret these structures as evidence of early 21st century responses to environmental uncertainty. In this sense, Pacifica exemplifies the archaeology of the present, where material culture is actively accumulating even as it is studied. A city barely 7 decades old can still possess deep historical resonance. The Act of Incorporation in 1957 formalized governance, yet the cultural landscape was already layered with meaning. Churches, schools, and civic centers constructed in the mid-20th century now approach an age at which preservation debates emerge. Determining what constitutes historic becomes a dynamic question, shaped by community values as much as chronology. Pacifica challenges conventional assumptions that archaeology must concern only distant antiquity. Stand on the shoreline at dusk, and the boundary between land and ocean feels profoundly uncertain. This liminality defines Pacifica's character. Archaeological inquiry here must grapple with shifting baselines, coastlines that migrate, sediments that rearrange, and infrastructures that demand reinforcement. Such instability offers critical insight into how human settlement negotiates risk. Pacifica becomes a case study in coastal resilience, illustrating both the allure and vulnerability of life at the ocean's edge. In the rhythm of tides and traffic, past and present converge in unexpected ways. Pacifica's story intertwines natural history with municipal ambition, indigenous heritage with suburban planning, erosion with preservation. For the archaeologist, it is a reminder that every landscape, no matter how recent its city charter, contains deeper temporal dimensions. Pacifica, founded in 1957, yet grounded in ancient geology and enduring cultural memory, stands as a testament to the layered complexity of coastal California.